This is a bottle of fountain pen ink that smells like coffee. And I know what you're thinking. Finally, an ink for the person who looked at a fountain pen and thought, yes, this hobby is expensive, impractical, slow, slightly ridiculous, but could it also smell like my breakfast? Today we're looking at KWZ, It Smells Like Coffee, which may be one of the most dangerously named inks in the hobby. Because once you call an ink It Smells Like Coffee, you have created expectations. It can't just be vaguely warm. It can't smell like a dusty cupboard. It cannot smell like someone whispered coffee near a chemical factory. It has to smell like coffee. And if it doesn't, well, then we have a problem. Now I'll say this right at the beginning. The scent is absolutely part of the experience. When you open the bottle, yes, there is a coffee-like smell. It is not the same as sticking your face into a freshly pulled espresso. It is not going to replace your morning cup, but there is definitely a warm, sweet, roasted scent there. The funny thing is that the smell almost becomes the least important part once you start writing with it, because this ink has to answer two questions. First, does the gimmick work? And second, when the novelty wears off, are we left with a good brown ink? Because that is where scented inks usually get tested. The smell may get you to open the bottle, but the color, behavior, shading, flow, and paper performance are what decide whether you keep using it. So let's talk about the color first. This is a warm brown ink, not black brown, not a cold brown, not muddy brown. It sits more in that coffee, cocoa, roasted bean family. Depending on the paper, it can lean lighter and warmer or deeper and more saturated. And that already makes it more interesting than I expected, because brown inks can go wrong very quickly. Some browns look flat, some look dirty, and some look like the pen had an accident, and some look like you tried to write with the water left after cleaning a paintbrush. This one avoids that. It has enough warmth to look inviting, and enough depth to still be readable. It does not scream for attention, but it also does not disappear into the page. Now the big question, is it just brown ink with a smell attached? I say not quite. The scent gives it personality, no doubt, but the paper gives it character. And with this ink, the paper matters a lot. On Clairefontaine, the ink looks controlled, very clean and very smooth. The coating of the paper gives the ink a sharpness, and the brown appears more polished and slightly more restrained. This is probably the paper where the ink behaves most neatly. If you want this ink to look tidy, elegant and safe, Clairefontaine does the job well. The downside is that some of the softer shading is held back. You still get variation, especially with a wetter, broader nib, but it does feel more disciplined here. Clairefontaine turns this ink into the well-behaved guest at the table. Still coffee, still warm, but it has put a jacket on. On your sari, things become more interesting. Your sari has this way of making inks feel a little softer and more natural. With KWZ, It Smells Like Coffee, this works very well. The brown feels less formal than on Clairefontaine, and the shading becomes easier to see. The lighter parts of the writing move into a warm coffee brown, while the heavier strokes deepen nicely. It does not become dramatic in a ridiculous way, but it does start to show more personality. This is where the ink begins to feel less like a novelty and more like something you might actually want to write with. In a fine nib, it remains readable but slightly understated. In a medium nib, it starts to wake up. In a broad nib, it becomes much more enjoyable because the line gives the ink enough space to show the shading. And that is important with this ink. If you use a very fine nib, you may get the scent and the idea, but you won't get the full character. You'll get brown ink that smells nice. With a medium or broad nib, you get much more of the actual experience. On Tomoe River Machine 9, this ink becomes more expressive. Now, Tomoe River often does this. It takes an ink and says, right, let's see what you're hiding. And with this coffee ink, it pulls out more shading, more tonal variation, and more contrast between the lighter and darker parts of the line, which I love. The ink sits on the page longer, so you get a richer look. The darker areas pull more visibly, and the lighter areas keep that warm coffee tone. This is probably one of the best papers if you want the ink to look most complex. But there is a trade-off. Dry time. Because of course there is. Tomoe River gives you beauty and then charges you in patience. This is not the paper I would choose if I need to take quick meeting notes, close the notebook immediately and run out the door. unless, of course, I wanted my meeting notes transferred onto the opposite page, like some kind of tragic Brown test. But for a review, for letter writing, for slower writing, and for just enjoying the ink, Tomoe River Machine 9 is excellent. This is where the ink feels most like a proper fountain pen ink rather than just a scented novelty. On Canopus, the ink has a different feel again. Canopus gives the brown a slightly more textured, practical look. It does not feel as glossy as Clairefontaine, and it does not quite have the same slow, dramatic presentation as Tomoe River, but it handles the ink nicely. The shading is visible, especially in broader writing. The brown feels warm and usable. It's less look at me and more write with me. And that may actually suit this ink very well, because after the coffee smell has made its entrance, you still need the ink to behave like ink. Canopus gives it a grounded, everyday quality. It makes the ink feel less like a party trick and more like something you could use for journaling, notes, or letters. In a medium nib, I think this paper works exceptionally well. You get good readability, even shading, and a pleasant coffee brown tone without things becoming too slow or too wet. With a broad nib, the ink becomes richer, but you also start to see more of the dry issues, depending on how wet your pen is. Then we have Cosmo Air Light. And this is where the ink becomes more visibly interesting again. Cosmo Air Light has a way of making inks look full. It can give them a kind of soft, saturated presence on a page. With KWZ, it smells like coffee. That means the brown becomes richer and more dimensional. The shading looks very good here. The lighter areas keep that warm coffee tone, while the heavier strokes become deeper and more roasted looking. This is probably one of the more attractive pairings if you want the ink to look premium on camera. The ink doesn't just sit there looking brown. It has movement. It has contrast. It has enough variation in the writing samples to look interesting. And for a YouTube video, that matters. Because let's be real, a flat brown ink is a hard sell. Nobody clicks on a thumbnail thinking, I hope this is the most average brown I've ever seen. But when the brown has warmth, shading, depth, and a scent attached to it, suddenly there is a story, and this ink does have a story. Now let's talk about the smell while writing. When you write with it, the scent is there. It is more noticeable when the ink is wet, and especially when you are close to the page. Once it dries, the smell becomes softer. You may still notice it if you deliberately smell the page, but it is not going to turn your notebook into a coffee shop, which is probably a good thing, because as charming as the idea sounds, I'm not sure I want every notebook on my desk smelling like a cappuccino for the next 6 months. The scent is part of the ritual. Open the bottle, smell the coffee note, write, watch the brown ink go down. Let it dry. Enjoy the absurdity of the whole thing. And fountain pens are particularly about absurdity. Let's not pretend this is entirely rational. We are grown adults discussing paper coating, nib width, ink shading, dry time, and whether a brown ink smells enough like coffee. At some point, you just have to accept that we have chosen this life. Now performance. The ink feels smooth. I would not call it the wettest ink in the world, but it is comfortable. It does not feel scratchy or dry in a good pen. In a medium nib, it gives a balanced line. In a broad nib, it becomes much more enjoyable visually. The fine nib users may find it a little less exciting. It works, but you lose some of the shading and warmth. If you are using this ink because of the scent alone, a fine nib is fine. But if you want the color to do something, medium or broad is the better choice. And yes, I know fine nib people are already preparing the comments, but with this ink, the broader nib wins. The shading is one of the main reasons to use it. The scent gets the attention, but the shading keeps the ink interesting. Dry time depends heavily on paper. Clairefontaine and Tomoe River will naturally keep things wetter for longer. Usari and Canopus feel more manageable. Cosmo Air Light gives a beautiful result, but I would still give it time before closing the book. This is not an ink I would use for rushed office notes, where I need instant dry time. It is more of a slow writing ink, and that fits the theme. Coffee is not just a flavor, it is ritual. This ink works best when treated the same way. Slow writing, a decent paper, a medium or broad nib, maybe a quiet desk. This has been another presentation of The Honest Nib. If you enjoyed this video, If you found it of use and of value, it would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe and share with your friends and family. The views are important, yes, but getting the knowledge out of what there is also important. Until we meet again, enjoy your day, enjoy your evening, your morning, wherever you are, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.